Alright, just a quick little video for you guys today. And again, you guys know how I love that Montreal Hockey Now site because I do find them to be pretty reputable. The sources that they talk to seem to be reliable and they seem to know what they're talking about. We don't got a bunch of Pierre Maguires up there at Montreal Hockey Now. And there was a very interesting article published yesterday. And I know that I talked about this briefly yesterday, but the Habs are going to have to move somebody, okay? Especially at forward, moving in Sean Monahan now and his 6.3 cap hit. I do think they're going to have to move somebody. They're going to have to, not I think. It's going to be for sure here. Because, yeah, they got a bunch of cap space from Carey Price going on LTIR, but they still have way too many cooks in the kitchen. I mean, you can't have DVORAK, Suzuki, Kirby, Dach, Sean Monahan, and Jake Evans coming in at center at camp there. You need to move somebody. And one of the guys that's highly been talked about, apparently according to this article, since the trade deadline, is Christian DVORAK, the so-called, either whether you want Dano or Kotkaniemi replacement from last summer. He was brought in, and it just hasn't really worked out. I know he turned it on a bit in the later season, and I'm seeing a lot of people go to bat for this guy. A lot of Habs fans in my comment section want to keep DVORAK, but it's looking like the Habs are lightly shopping him. And in this article titled Murphy, from Jimmy Murphy, written, 2 different takes on potential trade return for DVORAK, there is his trade market value revealed in this article. Now, again, there's 2 different sources saying 2 different things here, so we'll see what happens, and it's going to be influenced as well by his play this upcoming season, unless he gets traded before then, which, again, by the way, very possible, but hey, we'll see what happens if, I would even say when he gets traded, if it lines up with what these sources are saying. Here's what was said. Alright, this is from the article. In 2 separate conversations regarding NHL trade value of Christian DVORAK, who had 11 goals and 22 assists in 56 games last season, the potential trade return predictions varied. Here's the first source's quote. 3rd round pick if they're lucky. But I'd say a 4th rounder sounds more on target, the first source said. I know he started to play better under Martin St. Louis, but he is what he is, and on a Stanley Cup contender, that's a 3rd-line center. So that's the first of the 2 sources. But here's what the second source had to say about that. If he is playing a 200-foot game, then he can be really effective and I think rotate between the 2nd or 3rd slot up the middle, the source said. I hope your other source is right though, and we don't have to give up more than a 3rd for him. Wow, that's honestly quite interesting as far as that. So you got one source who's valuing him way higher, and you got another source who's saying, wow, a 3rd if he's lucky, and a 4th, right? So, again, it just depends on who you trade him to. I mean, again, different returns. For Matthew Tkachuk, there's a lot of teams that probably wouldn't have given up the equivalent of Huberdeau Weegar, a 1st-round pick, and a prospect who's going to play in the NHL. So, different GMs work differently, man. And you got to try for the Montreal Canadiens to fish out that second source and fish out the teams who value DVORAK higher than a 3rd-round pick. Imagine if you can ship off DVORAK for a 2nd, okay? Or, I mean, a 1st at this point in time for a guy who got 11 goals seems like a stretch. But again, if he opens the season and he's one of the guys you keep, you play him, and he plays better, you can ship him out and you've still got Nick Suzuki, Kirby Dach, Sean Monahan, and Jake Evans that you can roll at center. So absolutely, if you want to let him play a bit in the season and then trade him with an up to value, maybe you could get a 1st-round pick for him. Clearly, there's some sources and there's some executives in the NHL who really value 200-foot centermen. So absolutely, I think a 1st wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. Right now, it would be incredibly difficult. Ken Hughes would have to pull a rabbit out of the hat. He'd have to turn into Chris Angel Mind Freak to get somebody to give him a 1st-round pick for Christian DVORAK. But later on, again, as we know here, there are some teams who value what DVORAK brings to the table. I just wanted to make a quick little video to tell you guys about that because to me, that's very interesting. And I think DVORAK is absolutely one of the guys who's very, very, very likely to get moved. He's only got 2 years left on his deal. He's got a decent cap hit. He's in his mid-20s. I think this is a prime guy to get moved. I think if one of the new centers acquired is going to stay, other than Kirby Dach, of course, I think it'll be Sean Monahan. After this season, the Habs might decide, hey, we'll take a flyer on you, $2 million for 1 or 2 years. Let's see what you can do. I think that would be more likely. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We'll talk more about this. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.